Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, July 11, 2023 Urban Hill City Council meeting. I will call the meeting to order and ask Nicole to take roll call, please.
Blake?
Here.
Carberry Montgomery?
Here.
Kroll?
Here.
McBurney?
Here.
And Obrick is absent.
Okay, thank you. Please stand as you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Urbandale is a national leader in character counts, endeavoring at all times to promote and model the principles of trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. In conducting tonight's meeting, we expect that all participants will act in a respectful manner consistent with these principles. Item 2 is to approve the agenda. I ask for a motion in a second.
So moved.
Motion by Carberry Montgomery, second by McBurney. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. Item 3 is Citizens Forum. This is the opportunity to address the council on something that's not a part of tonight's agenda. Would anyone like to address the council this time? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. Item 4 is to adopt the minutes from the city council meeting of June 27.
So moved.
Motion by Blake, second by McBurney. Discussion, please vote. Okay, that passes. Item 5 is the consent agenda. We have 10 items on the consent agenda for approval.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion by McBurney, second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. Item 6, regular agenda items. First is item 6.1 to consider the equipment purchase for the fire department command vehicle. And Chief Holt, answer any questions if there are. Chief, did you have anything further to add, or? Okay. Except I heard it's been a little bit to get here. But.
Since 20, we've been waiting on it.
Only 3 years. It's not that long. Motion to approve Council Letter 7487.
Motion by McBurney.
Second.
Second by Kroll. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 6.2 is consider the professional services agreement for the automated license plate detection services with Flock Group Inc. And Captain Logson's here if you have any questions. So, Matt, did you have anything further you wanted to add on this?
Yeah, Captain, I did have a question for you. Just curious how successful it's been having the 14 cameras that we currently have. What kind of?
Matt, if you can come up here, Matt, just so we can hear. Thanks.
All right, good evening. Since we've adopted these cameras in May of 2022, over the past year, there's been about 135 cases that have resulted in identification of a suspect or arrest made. But that doesn't count like people that we were able to eliminate that were maybe accused of something also.
Awesome. All right, yeah, that's all I had. I was curious.
Okay.
Any examples of types of crimes or people that you've been able to, I don't know, I'm just looking for something anecdotal and interesting, I guess.
So we've been able to solve robberies with it. We had the individual that was in the news that he committed several robberies in Waukee, in Des Moines, in our city, and within a day we were able to capture him and get him identified.
Great.
Yeah, typically, with those, when we didn't have them, we'd have to go and search around at other, private cameras and things like that. But with this, we were able to locate his vehicle, kind of track where he drove, and then we got his license plate and we were able to identify him and get him apprehended in about 2 days.
Great.
So it looks like from the map, the 6 new locations are kind of focused around the urban loop area. Is that where the new ones are all going? So we don't really have many on our western side of our community yet, except for the one that's going to go near the Nebraska Furniture Mart. Am I looking at this map correct?
Right, so on the map, anything in yellow would be a brand new one.
Okay.
You'll see 3 of them kind of on the western edge. So we'll have the Meredith on the west side of the interstate. And so when they exit off and they travel westbound on Meredith, they would catch them there. Douglas, right there, right around Pilot, and when they travel westbound, we'll catch them there. And then on 142nd Street, when they travel northbound into the city, they would get caught there as well.
Okay.
With the construction at 128th in Hickman going northbound, this year, we're gonna bypass that one because there's really not a traffic signal pole at this time to be able to attach it to. The other 3, we had those early on a test first couple months in May of 2022. So those 3 at 100th and the interstate coming southbound.
And then I guess my other question with that is, some other cities do it. Is Waukee a part of this too? So we're capturing, I'm just thinking that that's kind of a part of the city that you can kind of get in and out of without being viewed by the system. Does Waukee participate so we can capture that side of our community a little bit?
So Waukee's currently looking into using the flock program. Clive has 20 cameras, and those are along Hickman Road, going west, out clear out to 156th Street. They have some out there. Our goal is we started on the east side, per se, of the interstate in Urbandale. Eventually, we'd like to grow our camera network out western.
Okay.
So we're kind of doing a little bit at a time. So we had 6 additions this year. Hopefully we can get some more on the next budget. West Des Moines, they've got 56 cameras they just put in. So nationwide, we can use we have access to every camera nationwide.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I was wondering.
All right, any further questions? All right, thanks, Matt.
All right, thank you.
With that, is there a motion?
Motion to approve Council Letter 7492.
Motion by McBurney, second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. Thank you. Item 6.3 is to consider the second reading of ordinance 2023-04 regarding cigarette, tobacco, alternate nicotine, and vapor retail permits. AJ?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. As you'll recall, last time was the first reading of this ordinance. And there were some questions on some of the language associated with the changeover or the adoption of the state code. Typically, what we do on a second reading, we put it on the consent agenda. But because of those concerns and questions, we wanted to make sure that we had those fully addressed. I included material in your weekly update that essentially highlighted the fact that adopting the state ordinance or the code on tobacco usage for us would be a point of reference in our code. We would reference the appropriate state code, and then that would then essentially be incorporated into how we would go about enforcing the tobacco laws in the state of Iowa. One of the questions that came up, and Nicole and I talked about it later, is that we wanted to make sure that it was fully understood that when we had, there was some language about dispensing machines, and that would be cigarettes or any tobacco product, even new vape products in a dispensing machine. Those would only be permitted in a location where only those over the age of 21 are permitted to go into. So again, if you remember, maybe some of you do, maybe you don't, that cigarette machines used to be in hotel lobbies and gas stations and restaurants, and they were almost everywhere. But that's not the case anymore. Almost all cigarette or all tobacco sales are for behind the counter and require a clerk or someone to enact that exchange. Again, if there is such a location where there's vending, those would be limited to those places only where persons of the age 21 were permitted. So we wanted to make that clarification. Other than that, we will be adopting the state, this would be adopting the state regulations and code by reference to our ordinance. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for getting further detail and clarification on that.
Yeah, not a problem. We kind of, between Nicole and I, we kind of like, what, did it really mean to say that? Or we got it squared away, so we're good. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate the extra time, and I will move the second reading of ordinance 2023-04.
Okay, motion by Carberry Montgomery,
Second.
second by McBurney. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 6.4 is considered the annual compensation for the mayor and city council. AJ?
Yes, again, this came up during your budget discussion, which was an appropriate time because if there was a desire for the change in compensation for the position of city council and the position of mayor within our community, that discussion and action had to take place this year. By state code, changes in compensation for those elected positions are to take place, those changes are to take place before the next general election, which would be effective for council members January 1st of 2025, given that you have a general election this fall of 23. There are provisions in the code which are a little bit different for the position of mayor. And so that would not take place, if passed, would not take place until January 1st of 26, because the mayor and two of you are in that election cycle where you're up in the 25 cycle. So again, those would be the proposed implementation dates for this. And the dollar amounts is that are identified here are the ones that by all of our notes were agreeable to all of you. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have on that.
Motion approved, council letter 7494.
Okay, motion by McBurney,
Second.
second by Kroll. Further discussion? Not, please vote. All right, that item passes. Item 7, mayor and council items. Amy, do you have anything tonight?
Just want to say thanks to Public Works, I think it's Public Works Department, that's my bad, for holding the Saturday, once a month trash disposal. We were able to take advantage of that this weekend. It was awesome. Yes, it was marital bliss, so thank you. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else major. I'm probably missing something.
All right, Larry?
I just want to say that we hosted our solar power hour last week, and it went pretty well. We had a few less people than we had the year prior, but overall, pretty good turnout. I'm glad to see that we still have folks interested in trying to get more solar panels out there. If you weren't able to attend that one, I would just recommend checking out the Grow Solar program on Facebook and finding a power hour that's close to us. And yeah, it was nice to see and go through that information one more time.
And it's open again until when?
I will have to get back to you on that. I can't remember the exact closing date. But yeah, and then I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that participated with the Urbandale 4th of July celebration. We had a huge turnout, received a lot of compliments from folks. And the police department, when they published their numbers for the citations, I had received actually a lot of compliments to the police department for following through on that. I think we had one of the best turnouts for our police department for citations and visiting folks. So that was well deserved on your guys' part. So thank you.
That would be what I forgot. Like, I feel like there's something else.
That's all I got.
Thanks, Larry. Matt?
I was going to just say compliment about the 4th of July. Thank you for all the city staff. I know that you put in most of your overtime hours probably during that week, so I appreciate it, and I know the city appreciates it. And I think that might have been one of the biggest parade turnouts we've had in a long, long time too. It
was massive.
Turnout. So even the heat will not keep people away. So we appreciate everything, and we thank you for making that signature event a fabulous event. So thank you.
They'll come for melting candy all the time. Right? That's true. Bridget,
Well, I
you have some
am
news, don't you?
very excited to announce that today we finalized a contract and hired a new CEO at DART. I think you all should have received an email from DART with information, but Amanda Wonke will be starting August 31st. She'll be with us a little bit in August with the State Fair. That's a huge undertaking for DART. But she's formerly the COO and Deputy CEO of DART, so she's very well versed in DART. She's very well respected by the staff, which is important to us. But we really needed to go through the whole process to to get to her. And so all of the months of, of meetings were not wasted, but everyone is very, very excited. So I see it's out in Business Record and elsewhere, so if you want more information. But I know she'll be coming out and meeting with councils over, it'll take a while to get to 13, I think, communities, but she's great. We're very excited. So I also wanted to really thank the police department for stepping up enforcement. We had a lot of fireworks in my neighborhood, and I did not hesitate to call. I just have a question, though, because of the number of times that I called personally, would be a large percentage of the 77 calls that were received relative to one person. So I guess, I know Amy and I have talked about this, how those like are counted if it's, if me and 3 of my neighbors call, is it counted as about the same situation? Is it counted as one incident? That was what the impression that we were given by Chief Johansson. We don't need to discuss it right now, but I'd like some clarification. I mean, won't tell you how many times I called, but if there was 77 calls, I had a couple of that 77.
Okay.
So I would think that there would be more than 77 calls is what I'm getting at.
Sure, and yeah, we can find out.
So I'm being honest, I'm telling the truth. Everybody knows.
You and I differ. I was like, we'll have a little fun. I'll call
Well,
on
they're going
July
out
5th.
off outside my bedroom window, like, and my dog's losing it. I'm not having it. So, but thank you. No, I mean, I think, and to be so forthcoming with the information, I heard no one complain about the enforcement.
Oh,
So,
I heard a couple complaints, but
I-
nothing compared to previous years. And so, yes, thank you so much.
thank you.
Massive difference.
I echo, I think when, I had very few complaints by email where I normally would have a lot more for folks complaining. And just anecdotally, in my neighborhood, it was a relatively quiet year compared to some years too. So I know it depends on the neighborhood you're in, but yeah, thanks, thanks, Matt, for, please pass that on to the chief too, for everything that the police department did on that, so. And just following up, since I have Gina here right in front of me to remind me, we have the chamber luncheon on Thursday, and so if anybody wants to come and hear a different variation of the State of the City address, we're gonna do that on Thursday at the chamber luncheon, and it's a good chance to support the chamber as well, so. If you can make it, Gina, they can still get tickets, right, or maybe? We can work on it, okay, all right. I don't want to put you on the spot.
And
All right,
can,
all right,
can we also say a big thank you to Nicole for getting our
yes.
our lovely golf carts, getting them decorated.
Thank you for reminding me
Saving
about that.
Adam's rear,
Thank you
all
for
the
that.
things.
Nicole is responsible for getting us all organized for the parade, so thank you very much for that.
It's
That's-
my pleasure,
Yes,
certainly.
thank you. All right, is there a motion now then to go into closed session to discuss pending litigation?
So moved.
Motion by Kroll, second by McBurney. Any further discussion? If not, please vote. I don't think so. All right, that passes. All right, yes, we do need to enter into closed session now, so we will. Thanks, Gina. Sorry, didn't mean to put you on the spot. But.
No, you're right. Yes, anybody can get in yet if they want to.
See ya.